We are. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 5 of Selling Success. Wulwyn Port. I am stationed in Holly Springs, North Carolina. And Liz Rossilli is on location. Where are you, Liz?
I am in Wintergreen, Virginia, at the Wintergreen, near the Wintergreen Resort, skiing. It's my kids' spring break, and we are socially distanced skiing this week. And so it's 60 degrees plus degrees outside, which is not, it's just not, it's great skiing weather, but at the same time, you bring all this gear and you don't need any of it. So I've been skiing in a sweatshirt and my ski pants all week. So it's great, but it's beautiful. It's just gorgeous here.
I can
So
see. I mean, I love the sunlight. Everything
yeah,
looks
and we're
great there.
staying like on top of the mountain, so it's just beautiful here. So yeah.
Excellent,
So, but
excellent.
I came off the mountain just in time to do our selling success. Uh, yeah.
And that's what it is, right? It's not. I see a lot of people think we're just going to jump in it. A lot of people think that when they are starting a business or operating a business, CEOs, whatever you are, at what level, solopreneur, entrepreneur, running a small, medium, or large business, you have to have time to play in
Hmm.
order for you to be successful, because some just work, and I don't think that's a balance.
Yeah.
It's not a. What's your take on that?
Yeah, like so yesterday I had a call that I was supposed to be part of. It was a training. It was being recorded, but I really wanted to be on it, but I was like, I'm only skiing for 3 days. Like, and you have to set your priorities and say, like, I'm just going to listen to the recording of that one. And I'm going to
That's
just
it.
spend the time with my kids and go skiing. And yeah. And then of course, last night I was like, when you want everyone to just be quiet and like have everything low, like I'm getting proposals yesterday. I'm getting, all this stuff. And I just, like, just don't check your phone until you're back, and then last night I did have to do some work, but it was fine. And I just would say, I will have this to you, instead of my usual, maybe a couple hours, I'll have this to you tomorrow by tomorrow. And so
Yes,
just
yes,
setting, but
yes.
you have to set those yourself.
I was talking with someone the other day, and we were talking about building a community
Hmm.
as business owners. And most times when we go and network, we think that we're networking to get clients.
Hmm.
Exactly what you and I did when we went to this networking meeting. It was with we were connected, and
Hmm.
from there, we didn't. It wasn't a client relationship. It was a business to business relationship. Liz and Wulwyn got together, and we were just talking, and hey, why not let's do this? Something came out of that supports us, because this
Right.
supports me a whole lot. It supports me because now I can celebrate my wins. I got my celebrate my wins poster. I got my abundance bracelet. But these things are so important to our ecosystem as business owners,
Hmm.
in order for us to sell success. One, your downtime, enjoying time with family, etc., but also building that support system, that community that supports you. Because
Right.
my wife, if I go and tell my wife about the business, she's gonna look at me like, okay.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
go to your husband and tell him, that he's gonna go, okay, he will give you his spouse's input. It's
Right.
not
But
going
he's
to
also
be.
coming from the corporate side of it. So he has a very different viewpoint
Yes.
of some of the things I do. He's like, why are you wasting your time doing that? Like, where he's used to it just being like boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, when you're an entrepreneur, it's just so different, and I think when you, like, anytime you're going to go out of your comfort zone, or you want to try something new, like if you're an entrepreneur, you're in your own head, and you have to make these decisions on your own. So if you have that network of people that you have met while you're in your community, that you trust their opinion, you value what they have to say, that maybe they're 2 steps ahead of you, and you can
Mm,
say, hey, I'm thinking of doing this. I'm thinking of, trying. What do you think of this idea? Like, am I crazy, or does it sound like a good idea? But
correct.
having those people that, like, here's, Holly Sullinger, Dr. Holly Sullinger had I'd been to one of her presentations, and it was about your board of directors and coming up
Yes.
with a board of directors for your own, no matter how small your business is. And it might even be that it's not people who know they're on your board of directors, that you don't have to
Correct.
ask them. You just
Correct.
have this list and say, okay, if I need, and it might be mental list where when I need to work on this one thing, who do I have that I can ask about that or get their feedback on that? And just having that list of
Yes.
people that you can rely on and know are going to give you honest feedback.
Dr. Holly Solinger, Dr. Holly Speaks.
Yes.
That's where she is. A very good resource. Also, if you're looking for resources for those who are watching, I when you told me just now, your husband has a corporate viewpoint, and I remembered I had a corporate viewpoint. And when I
Mhm.
when I when I resigned from EMC and was moving over to becoming an entrepreneur, the mind of a corporate, working in corporate and working in as an entrepreneur, in corporate, I didn't know that. I knew it, but I can compare it now to market. The marketing organization, they create the marketing, they create
Mhm.
the ads, they create blah blah blah. The decision making, all I do is I bring my laptop, plug myself into this cloud, do just what my expertise is, and I plug out and go.
Right.
Entrepreneurs, you are that marketer, you are that legal, you are that, all of those things
Right,
above. And
and it's not like, "Oh, here's my budget." It's your own money, there's no budget showing up out of nowhere. It's your money.
write the justification on why you need the $20 million, and oh, that's easy. We need to do it. Write the justification for your 20,000. Gosh, what do I do? Do I put it on marketing? Do I pay somebody? Do I?
Yeah.
Wow. But that's what selling success is, though. Understanding, and as you said, those board of directors are coming in and assisting you to point you to your true north in order for you to be successful. What else is going on in that mind? What are the
Well,
wins?
kind of along those same lines is I was thinking about, I have a new book I'm reading called The Confidence Code, and it's the
Okay.
science and art of self-assurance, what women should know. And it's obviously geared towards women. But I think confidence is something that everyone needs, but I think women even more so need to have that, you know, that's part of even having that community and just having the confidence to ask the questions or to ask for help or to give your voice. And I think in sales, like, confidence, you can talk yourself right out of even making the call because of confidence. And
Mm,
I think you have the mindset to just say, like, I can change and just say, like, when I'm about to pick up the phone, I can be anyone I want to be, right? When you pick up the phone, you can
wow.
set a persona and say, okay, I'm going to pick up this phone and I'm going to be like, on top of my game. I'm going to do my power pose beforehand. I'm going to be like, I'm going to go in there. They don't know you. So you're starting at zero. So you can go in there as anyone you want. Even when you go into a networking event, you can walk in the door and decide ahead of time, who am I going to be when I walk in this door? So I
Wow.
think that is so
Wow.
important to have the mindset of, whether it's like, I just closed a $50,000 deal before I picked up this phone, whatever you have to say to then pick up the phone and come through with confidence.
Wow. Wow. As you were saying that, and what I did, so there are two things that we spoke about: the book, The Confidence Code. I put that up under our comments. And then Dr. Holly Solinger, I put Holly Solinger. If she sees this, please, Doc, I removed the doctor. I apologize. I put Dr. Holly Speaks, your board of directors. Uh, as you were saying this, I remembered reading a book. Don't know what the book was, the title of the book, but it explained how when you enter when you enter a room, and I'm just picking up the networking when you enter, but when you were speaking, you said your confidence pose. That's what triggered to me. Oh wow, you're on the telephone and you're doing your confidence pose. Wow. And you can, even if you think putting your foot up on your desk and putting the phone to your ear and crossing your legs, if that's what it is, do it, right? But I remembered reading this book and it said that when you enter a room, you don't just walk in the room and just walk. You enter, you pause at the door.
Hmm.
You pause at the door with your shoulders high and you scan. After you scan, you will see where you want to go. And at that point, you turn and you confidently walk. It says, what happens that you're only seeing your view, but look at it from the other people in the room. There are people who naturally look at the door when somebody enters. That's
Right.
what we do. We turn and look. And the person sees you when you enter, you pause and you are confident and you stand and you scan. And they're thinking, oh, wow, who is he or who is she that she can
Right.
come into this room and just pause at the door and command the room and turn. So what have you talk about your confidence pose on your telephone? My confidence um, ritual when I enter rooms, I don't enter rooms and just, I enter, I pause and I look, and then somebody may say, "Hey, Wulwyn," and I go, "Hey," and then I walk over to them because that's what I don't know who's in the room. I don't know where I'm gonna sit, so
Right.
I'm gonna pause there, acting confident, and in my butterflies are going. What is that? I'm like,
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And it's not arrogance, right? It's just confidence, and people are going to be like, oh, I want to talk to, that's got to be someone
yes,
important, I want to talk to them. And
yes,
and you walk with conviction is what you're talking about, you walk
that's
with
it.
a purpose. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Shoulders high, head
Yeah.
high, and you go in. I think that gave me a client or two. I
Yep.
got in. There was a Raleigh conference that they had at the center at NC State,
Hmm.
and I entered the room, hundreds of people. It was a
Yeah.
small business meeting, and I paused and I looked and looked and looked. I was like, where do I sit? Where do I sit?
Yeah.
Where do I sit? Lead me to
Yeah.
sit to the right seat, the right table. And I just started to walk slowly. And then I saw the table. And do you know the person I sat next to became
Yeah.
one of my best clients
Yeah.
I ever
Well,
had in my
I
business?
also think when you go to networking events, right? You you're looking for someone, because that's like that comfort. But and I think everyone needs to realize that, like, everyone who walks in the room has those same butterflies. That it's
Yes.
not like some people are like, "Oh my God, I'm so excited to go. I hope there's no one there I know and I'm going to meet all these great new people." Like, everyone. But I think the challenge that what you have to do when we can go back to networking is you walk in the room and you see like four people talking that you are so comfortable with. And you're like, oh my God, I just want to go over and be in that group because it feels so good. But you're like, I already know them. Like, I
Yes.
already feel comfortable. Maybe you start there just to kind of ease into it. But
Correct.
then you have to go, if you spend the whole time talking to them, what was the point of even coming to the networking event? And
Mm.
you see people all the time that they just go to where they're comfortable and where it feels right, but you have to go, and you have to go and meet other people, because that's the point of networking.
So somehow I have a feeling we're talking about community and networking 101 here. I want to ask this question to you and get your viewpoint. What do you think about standing by yourself at a networking event where you don't you've walked around and it's good or not good and you just go and stand by yourself? What
That is so uncomfortable to me, to stand by myself, because then you have to wait for someone to come up to you. And if I think most people are afraid to walk up to somebody. They don't, even if they want to talk to you, they're, so I don't have a problem walking up to someone and introducing myself. So I will make the first step and do
Mhm.
that. So I'd rather walk up, and usually like I said, I think sometimes you have to kind of get warmed up a little bit. So, you might look for the people that look really nice, like not that anyone's gonna like
I
turn you
know,
down or
I
something, but you
know.
look for the people that look like they're really friendly, and
You,
so
you- I go into networking, these standing rooms, and I speak, I go and talk and talk and talk, but you get through with the rounds, but you don't find any grounds to stand for long.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you've worked the room. There's nowhere to stand in there because we get there are certain etiquette, networking etiquette. If somebody comes next to you to come and say hi, open up your body, let
yeah,
your body language say welcome so that people can come in. I know what you're talking about, but in fact, on the other hand, I know also that when I see two people engaging in the way they're engaging, don't go there. Just
right, right.
you
Don't
got to
interrupt,
pass
because then you're
that.
standing there and you're waiting for them to let you in, and then you feel like,
Correct. So
yeah,
it's a balance, but just in case I misread or you misread, people on the receiving end, please, just turn and go, oh, hi, how are you? So and so and so. And we were just talking about da 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 da. Would you like
right,
to join in? And that's when you go, oh, you know what? No, you guys continue. And then you
right.
can turn. Whereas they keep their shoulders to you and go, hi, how are
Or
you?
they don't even, they know you're there and they don't even look, so.
Yes, yes.
But I think you remember that that everyone is at a networking event for the same reason. Like, they're all there to, you're there to network. So I
Correct.
think as long as you remember, like, it's, even though you're walking up to a complete stranger, they know why you're there. So it
Mm,
kind of takes some of the edge off. But yeah,
mm,
I mean,
mm.
I miss them. I miss going.
Really?
I do. I miss it. And I miss, like, you meet a bunch of people and sometimes you don't even know, it wasn't like, oh yeah, I've met a client. It might not be a client. It might be just someone who you connect with and then they become a referral partner, or just someone you like hanging out with or talking to, or yeah, or they connect you with someone else.
Or
So
and then you start making video podcasts from, you
yeah,
never know.
you
You
never
never
know.
know.
So I think that it's just, but I just miss that energy in the room and
I
being able to see some of my friends in person. So
I
yeah.
I got a win to share. I got a win to share.
Yeah.
I don't know so two wins. What was so what we do, selling success, get an accountability partner, get somebody who you're accountable to when whatever you're doing, so that they just keep you accountable. Not that they're saying, are you doing it? You're just, you know what, I'm going to text you and let you know. I don't know when last I texted you the
The
number
number?
of words, but since the 6, there was 14, 67 on the 8th, 1560, and today 1205. and
Wow.
and
Yeah.
looking at it, do you know that I am halfway gone with the book? I have 40 plus pages now, of 8.5 by 11 on Word. That's a second WIN, that I want to share. Liz, I was down last week looking at my numbers and going, oh my goodness, what's going on here? What can I do? Should I call all my clients I have, who needs to pay up, right,
Mhm.
etc. And I'm looking, I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. I have to think things through. Do I call all my perspectives? Do my cold calls, etc. It's like, I will. Do you know that 6, 7, 8 hours after I'm looking at the books, and do you know that a client from 2019 who I may have written off, because I was like, you
Right.
know what, it's so, came and paid in full what was owed from out of the clear
Wow.
blue sky.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I thanked God, right? I was like, God, you know what? Thank you, God. Thank you that was something that I've already worked on, and
Right.
I don't need to even spend time doing any work. All I'm doing is receiving, right?
Yep.
And it gives me the win to tell the just a quick backstory, because I engaged this client when this client was in a position that she couldn't afford the service. And
Mm-hmm.
in the process, God just told me, give it to her. And I was like, I'm a management consultant. This thing is not what managed consultants do. I'm not gonna give
Yeah.
you free work, right? And I said, give it to her.
Right.
And when she just gave it to her. And I told her, and she was very, very adamant. She refused it and said, Wulwyn, no, I understand it. I said, no, I'm telling you, I'm giving it to you when you can afford it when you can pay.
Yep.
And she paid. She
Yeah.
paid. So selling success, I think, when we're engaging people in our businesses where what we own, there's a percentage of our business, I think, that we can gift. There's a
Yeah.
percentage that when you see somebody and engage with someone who needs it but can't
Yeah.
afford it, and you can go and say, it's not everybody, it's just 1 out of 10, 1 out of 20.
Right.
Have you come
Right.
across that in your engagements?
Yeah. I mean, I just had someone recently who, I mean, and I don't even know if she could, maybe she can afford it, but she just seemed like she needed so much help. Like she just
Mm-hmm.
needed, like even just something
Yes.
simple like her LinkedIn profile was just
Yes.
and she doesn't even know where to go with it. So I'm like, let me just help you a little. And I had a call with her and I sent her kind of like, here's some questions to just answer these questions and then we can review it. And she's like, I don't even know how to edit it. I'm like, I'll help. Let me just help you.
Wow.
And I look at that as karma and just being like, I don't need to get her to sign up for a whole package. I just want to help her. Like I want her to feel better about all this stuff because she's in this coaching program that I'm in and there's just so much stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
like if I can just take this little bit of stress off of her and kind of,
Wow.
I don't know. It makes me feel good. She sends me this email just like you're amazing, like thank you so much and she's so grateful and I'm just like
Yes.
that's that's worth it. So
Yes. Yes.
yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so I
Eh,
have a win for you,
Go ahead.
partner.
Go ahead. Shoot.
Okay, so over the holidays my husband got from one of his, he's like their prospect, so this company sent him this nice box with this really nice postcard, happy holidays, blah blah blah, like and in it was a really nice tumbler, like a retail tumbler,
Mm-hmm.
no logo on it. Blank tumbler. And I almost like I was looking at it like, are you kidding me? You just spent probably $25 on this tumbler and your name is not on. Like, why is your name on this? Like, oh my God, it drove me crazy. And so
Yes.
I reached out to them and I was nice about it. I didn't say like, what is wrong with you? But
Thank
I
you.
just said, hey, and I told them who my husband was and I said, he received this. It was such a nice gift, but I really think it would have had much more impact if you had put your logo on the tumbler. And so now, I had a call with the owner and he's going to the CEO and now we're gonna, he's launching a book. So we're gonna work on the book launch and he wants this whole package. So it's great. I mean, he was thankful that I reached out to him, but I was like, so to me, that's like, even when you're not working, just paying attention to what's around you and the opportunities, like obviously they don't have someone helping them with that,
Correct.
so just having those opportunities and just being
Wow.
aware of them. And then that was the holidays, so I had to kind of put it on the, I saved the postcard so I'd remember
Yes.
because I didn't want to
Yes.
bother them over the holidays. And then I had to wait. And then I connected on LinkedIn and just sent a nice
Mm,
note. And then he's like, I don't really check my LinkedIn. So it took him a while to get back to me. But we just had a Zoom call last week and he was so appreciative for some of my ideas. And, just even just like do a little mailer with like a pack of gum in it or mints or something just to tell your clients, hey, I know this is a hard time. I'm just thinking of you. Like, here's a little whatever, but it will just
mm.
be a reminder. So yeah.
Wow.
So, but
Wow.
that made me feel really good that it, that it followed through.
Wow. Yeah. And I'm a processor. You two things that you said right after the other. One was the karma where you're helping this person.
Hmm.
See, you have to be of value a value-driven person in
Mhm.
selling your success, in selling success. You have to be value-driven, value first, because
Right.
you did not see in those two instances, even a second one, where it turned out to be a contract per se, but you did not see dollar signs in your eyes like in the cartoons where it's
Yeah.
time to get some money. You
Yeah.
saw, oh my goodness, no, you you missed it just an inch. Why don't you just add this on there? And that's simple. Oh yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. By the way, I do it. And in fact, he would have said, you know what? I don't want to use you. I know somebody. Great,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Your company now has a logo on it in the future because of what I did for you. And
Yeah.
I didn't get any money, but know something? Down the line, I'm gonna get mine, right?
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
again, karma, right? Good
Yeah.
or bad.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
wow. Wow.
Yeah.
So which tells me, I go on people's websites and I see something misspelled. And I go, oh no. And I text them, hey, you're misspelled on this page and can you change it? And like, thank you, thank you. Or on
Yeah.
Facebook, somebody put on that post, something
Yeah.
like somebody does it for me. Well, when you got to change that, I spelled this spice, DSPICE. And it was like,
Yeah.
no, man, don't put the spice in the spice like that,
Yeah.
man. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
thank you, forgot, So
Yeah. And
it's
I think
just
that's our like I just last night I just texted my friend because she had this beautiful like post, like super long and so like moving. And then she meant to say, oh, I think she meant almost, and she put somehow it autocorrect to like lost. Like, oh, we have
uh-huh.
almost 200 members. And it said lost 200. And I'm like, that is not the right word, So
Correct,
I just sent her a
correct.
quick text, but like instead of just being like, oh, too bad, like she met, like letting
Yes.
them know, and they're thankful for that. And yeah, so that's our responsibility as a entrepreneur too, to pay attention, because if it was
Mm,
us, if it was you would want to know, like you said, you don't I
mm.
want someone to tell me like, hey, I think I want someone to say, you can maybe do this better, not because they're trying to sell me their program, but because they honestly know of a way that I can do something better, or that I've messed something up. So, yeah. And I think that's
You
part of
know,
your community.
was it you who told me about the photographer who saw your friend's
Yeah.
pictures? She
Yeah.
was about
Yeah.
to her business. Was it you?
Yeah.
That brings to memory that photographer who missed a business because they weren't gracious,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The know-it-all photographer. All your pictures are bad. Da, da, da. Come
Yeah.
on. When you
Yeah.
find a
It's a
mistake, be gracious in showing the mistake.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you have to have a
So
little,
what's
you have to know how to say it in the right way, right? Yeah.
what's your ability for today before we get out?
Um, so I will tell you, dealing with, because we're skiing, right? I used to ski
Uh-huh.
with, when I was in high school, I started skiing with we didn't start skiing until I was in high school. We used to go up to Canada, to like Quebec and ski up there. And my dad used to say to me, every time you go skiing, like on
Hmm.
a trip, every year, you're going to take a lesson. You take a lesson every time, because even though you think you're this great skier now, you're doing well,
Mm,
there's always room for improvement, and you need someone else to look at it and say, you know what, that what you're doing is good, but if you just tweak this a little bit, and they can give you some feedback on what you're
wow.
doing, and you can make it better every time. So I thought of him when I
Mm,
was here, like
wow.
he would have told me to take a lesson this week, but I didn't. But yeah,
So
so there's always room for improvement, and you need sometimes that outside view to look at it and make that, and help
yeah.
you make that adjustment.
Mm. Sis, ooh, thank you so much. Thank you for taking the time of your skiing vacation to come in here and really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Wulwyn.
To all of you out there, you take care and see you next week, same time.